Yo, what's good, everyone? Chapter 1033 just dropped, and oh my god. Okay, I can already tell, basically immediately, that this chapter is going to be, by far, the most toxic chapter that I've covered ever since I started doing these One Piece chapter reviews, because, oh my god, this chapter was like the ultimate Zoro fan chapter. He just got so many sick moments. He got more of a backstory. He knocked people out with Conqueror's Haki. It was pretty awesome. And it's setting up a really sick fight with King with a really, really great motivation, which is him wanting to sort of avenge Kuina, which is so cool because it felt like that was really almost unnecessary to be said. But that being the final line of the chapter just hit so hard. Because it's not just him trying to kind of say he could be the world's greatest swordsman, or him be someone suitable of being the, vice captain of the King of the Pirates. But it's just to avenge his best friend. That was awesome. That was really, really great. So, as I said, this chapter is going to be very controversial, so I just want to get those out of the way immediately. Because, honestly, I am more of a Sanji fan because, I don't know, he was just someone I liked more at the start. But this is so good, bro. Like, this is just fire. Like, these type of things are the reason I like Zoro so much. He's just very raw. Like, whenever he does get those moments to shine, he really, really shines. You know what I mean? Honestly, this gives me potential for a Zoro first Pika type absolutely insane moment to happen later on in this arc, and that has me really, really excited because King is kind of meant to be the Pika of this arc. So very, very, very exciting because Pika and King are both sort of really intimidating, big, beefy guys, and obviously Pika had the stupid voice, and King, his kind of quirk is the weird little power he's able to do by stretching his beak back into his head and all that. We do get some other really cool information in this chapter though. Like, we learn that King is actually Lunarian. We all assumed that he was, but we get that confirmation, and we get this really cool line from Queen, because Sanji and Queen are sort of in this chapter kind of just having a little interspersed stuff to sort of add on to the Zoro vs King fight. So we get some context on King actually being a Lunarian, and Queen describes the Lunarians as they used to be gods, well, considered gods, but then they were wiped out, presumably, in my opinion, by the Celestial Dragons, since they're seen as the gods of the world now. And Sanji even says, I wonder how that would even be possible, and Queen says, looks like you'll have to find that out for yourself. Now, personally, what I think this is alluding to is this one theory that I heard that was really, really, really cool in my opinion. And it was essentially that Sanji and the rest of his siblings are actually using DNA from other races, and that is how they have specific abilities depending on who they are. And this really sort of stood out in my mind because one of the brothers, the red one, has lasers and stuff, and people are like, oh, that could be from Kizaru's devil fruit, because that was obviously used for the pacifista. And there was another one, which is the blue brother, Niji. He has lightning stuff. People are like, oh, he could have had like mink DNA, mink lineage factor, and that's why he has lightning stuff. And Sanji, now that we know that this fire is associated with Lunarians, now that King is that, it could be inferred that Sanji is Lunarian DNA. Now, the main thing I obviously wanted to discuss, since it's the main point of the entire chapter, is Zoro's backstory. We don't really get that much, and honestly, this is the main reason. I don't really think Zoro is one of the better Straw Hats. I feel as though his backstory is very weak, but his character writing of just being strong and constantly cool is really cool. I wish he had more of a backstory, and this fleshes it out a bit more, though I obviously want more because Zoro's history is something I'm very curious about. Now, we learn that the entirety of the village he was from is named after Shimotsuki Kozaburo, who is a swordsman who made Enma and the Wado Ichimonji, and it's pretty sick, I'm not even gonna lie. And we essentially get to learn how Zoro knows so much about Wano culture. It's because the samurai fled Wano to go to the East Blue, and we learn that Kuina is actually this samurai's granddaughter. Now, for people who read the SBSs, we should know that this was actually confirmed by Oda in an SBS, and a bunch of people were really confused about this. Like, really? This is how we're learning about this stuff? This seems like important for Zoro's backstory, and we're getting it right now. So that is pretty cool. If, say, you don't read the SBS, this is confirmed in the actual narrative as well. So that's pretty awesome. And this obviously concludes a lot of hanging threads for Zoro, like how he knows so much about Wano culture and all this stuff. So that's a nice little bookend right there. But overall, I just really want more of this. I just want more of Zoro having like a story for his backstory. I feel as though a lot of Straw Hat's backstories just blow his out of the water. It's kind of insane. So I really do want to see more, and I'm very excited if we do get to see more in the future regarding maybe his sensei was someone pretty important, obviously being the son of someone from Wano, or maybe Zoro knows more about Wano than even he realizes. Now, another aspect of this I really enjoyed was him sort of realizing that Enma is testing Zoro, and he has to go all out in order to use him properly. And I thought that was really, really awesome. And we also get a bunch of scenes that sort of call back to Zoro's other swords, like the Wado Ichimonji, which we see little flashback of Zoro as a little kid, which we see as well with the Shimotsuki Kozaburo stuff, where Zoro learns about more of Wano. But personally, my favorite little moment from this chapter, besides the ending, as I said previously, was seeing the guy from Logtown. It was really, really cool. I'm not even gonna lie. And essentially, we learned that cursed swords aren't actually cursed. They're sort of testing the user of the sword and basically forcing them to go all out and test their luck and stuff along those lines. I'm hopeful to see how this fight plays out, because this has a lot of potential for Zoro's character. Shockingly, I didn't expect it to be as important as it is panning out, so I'm very excited. Personally, I definitely want to see more of this fight, obviously, but one thing I am intrigued in is, after this fight, what is Zoro going to do? Is Zoro going to possibly reconvene with Hiyori? Because Zoro obviously wants to take out Orochi, and Hiyori, if it is Hiyori, it could still be Toki, I have my fingers crossed on that. If it is Hiyori, will Hiyori and Zoro reconnect while the raid is going on, and Zoro will help Hiyori take out Orochi? Will Hiyori have already taken out Orochi by the time they reconnect? I'm not entirely sure. I do think they will definitely reunite at some point in the raid. Not sure if it's going to be to take out Orochi, but with Zoro's sort of quest to avenge Yasui, I definitely think it's possible. So that's it for me. I really like this chapter a lot, and I think there's a ton of potential for Zoro in the future. Very excited to see what you all think below, and I am just eagerly awaiting the toxicity that's going to be on social media after this chapter tomorrow. Super psyched. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, any support would be greatly appreciated, and have a good one.